SMP サイドストーリーくんねちぷ。
Previous overview. Kanasiapu felt lonely being separated from her child, but she parted ways with her family and set out on a journey to find her sister. And on the way, when they went to Suji, a man ran up to them. The man who ran up to us smiled and asked, "Are you Kanasiapu?" When I replied, "Yes," he handed me a thin wooden board. When I received the board, there was a picture of something on the surface, and when I asked the man what this picture meant, he told me that it was a picture that showed where we were now and where my sister was. However, it was the first time I had seen such a picture, so I couldn't understand its meaning. The man then pointed to each sign on the picture and explained its meaning, and also told me how many days it would take to reach the next mark. He told me, "But the board only has curves and a lot of black circles on it, so it seems to be a guide for the time being, but I'll have to check the details on the spot." But they went out of their way to research and make it for me, so I'm grateful. After thanking the man, we left Suji and headed for Odanupukodan. We traveled along the coast in a different route to Odanupukodan than last time, and the next day after staying overnight at Kodan on the way, we arrived at a familiar sand mountain just as the sun rose directly overhead. The shape of the sand pile was a little unusual, but it was easy to find the house where I spent time with my sister. Momu and Shalaki couldn't find the house, so they went further down the coast to Odanupukodan. The house is still the same as it was then, and the difference is that no one lives there now. When I entered the house, it was covered in dust, but it was in good enough condition to sleep in. As I was looking around the house, I suddenly remembered something, so I went out of the house and headed to the spring on the back side. The vegetation around the spring was growing and it was difficult to see, but when I got close to the spring, I saw small fish swimming in the clean water, just like at that time. As I was looking at the fountain with nostalgia, I found an unnatural row of slightly larger stones at my feet. When I picked up the stone, I saw my sister's seal engraved on the back, and it was at that moment that I remembered the promise of our family. If you get lost, mark yourself somewhere and wait for someone to find you. This is what our family promises to do. I'm sure my sister has left a mark where she was. I thought I was going to let them know, and when I turned around, they were right behind me, looking at me curiously. I was a little surprised, but soon we went back to the room together and discussed our plans for the future. In the course of our discussion, I first told them about my family promises and my sister's signs, and then we all decided to explore the area around the house. Soon after, I found a place behind the house where the grass was shortened like a beast path. So, first of all, I examined the area around the road, focusing on this road. The priority is to find out the location of the river that they found when they went to Odanupukodan. This is to ensure drinking water. But in the end, I couldn't find the river by nightfall that day, so I decided to look for the river the next day. That night, we had a meal with wild vegetables and dried fish that I found, and then we all went to sleep. The next day, they went in search of the river in the morning, and I went alone to Odanupukodan. The goal is to secure food. We don't know how long it will take to cross the mountains, so we need a lot of food. It was a little far to Odanupukodan, but the people of Kodan welcomed me kindly when they heard my name, and when I told them about the situation, they prepared a bamboo tube for a lot of food and drinking water. The people of Kodan put the things they had prepared in a big bag, and two men went out of their way to carry the luggage because I couldn't carry it alone. In such a case, the presence of a man is helpful. It's especially hard to walk on sand, but the men were used to the sand and talked to me with a smile, so I naturally smiled too. That's when they told me a bit of a surprise. Today's story ends. The continuation of the story will be updated tomorrow. Please look forward to. If you like, please subscribe to the channel. See you again.